Chasing a million, he is assigned to infiltrate a large criminal group specializing in money laundering. An experienced FBI agent, immersed in a world of intrigue and danger. He is charged with infiltrating a large criminal group specializing in money laundering. Jack's task is to gain access to the financial system of the gang and stop their machinations. However, unexpectedly for himself, he faces an unforeseen obstacle. An attractive and mysterious woman who works as an accountant for the gang gradually captures his heart. As the relationship develops, he realizes that his feelings for her could jeopardize the entire operation. Meanwhile, the group is preparing for a large transfer of funds, and he must act quickly to prevent a crime. When the situation escalates to the extreme, she finds herself drawn into dangerous games. She has to choose between the safety of her loved one and loyalty to her employers. As a result, she decides to save him at the risk of her own life. My name is Jack Brennan, and today I almost lost my life and my heart. It seems like every step, every breath brought me closer to something more than just completing a task. Love is an unpredictable force that can change the course of events in the most unexpected ways. Let's start at the beginning. The alarm clock rings at exactly 6 in the morning, and I wake up feeling as if I hadn't slept at all. My sleepy gaze falls on the window, through which the morning sun shines through, flooding the room with golden light. The cold water from the shower helps me finally wake up, and I head to the kitchen to make myself some coffee. Regular black coffee, no sugar or cream, just a strong flavor, invigorating and rich. Outside the window, I can hear the noise of the city, cars honking, passers-by talking, the sounds of life in a big metropolis. New York never sleeps, and even in the early morning, the streets are filled with people. I live in a modest apartment on the outskirts of Manhattan, not far from the center, but far enough away to feel relatively quiet after a busy day at work. Today's work promises to be particularly interesting. For 2 weeks now, I've been conducting surveillance on a money laundering ring. Their activities span the entire state, but their main center is here in New York. My job is to infiltrate this organization and gather enough evidence to destroy it from the inside. To do this, I had to create a legend, learn the habits and behaviors of these people to become one of them. Walking past the hallway mirror, I cast one last glance at my reflection. The face is tired but determined. The eyes are cold and focused. My clothes are simple but neat. Navy blue suit, white shirt, tie to match the suit. Outwardly, I look no different from an ordinary businessman rushing to an important meeting. But inside, I'm buzzing with adrenaline because something important may happen today. The previous evening, I met with one of the key members of the group. It was a woman named Laura. She worked as an accountant and had access to the gang's financial operations. The first time I saw her, I noted her austerity and restraint. She kept her distance, as if protecting herself with an invisible barrier. But with each encounter, I began to notice that her attitude toward me was changing. Her brown eyes, deep and expressive, sometimes lingered on me longer than usual. There was interest in them, mixed with caution. The slight smile that appeared on her lips when we talked about something important gave our conversations a special warmth. Although outwardly, she remained as cold and professional as ever, I sensed that something more than a working relationship was brewing between us. I had no intention of falling in love. The job came first, and any personal attachments could jeopardize the success of the mission. But every day, Laura grew closer. We spent more time together, discussing plans, sharing information. Gradually, I began to realize that she was not just an informant, but someone I trusted. Our conversations became more and more personal. We shared our worries, fears, and dreams. Laura told me about her family and how she had gotten involved in criminal activities. I listened to her, realizing that behind this strong woman, there was a vulnerable soul. And the more I got to know her, the more I was drawn to her inner light. Despite my efforts to keep my distance, I began to realize that my feelings for Laura went beyond professional interest. I caught myself thinking that I looked forward to our meetings, that her presence soothed and energized me. But every time I tried to suppress these emotions, they returned with renewed vigor. The work was important, but Laura had become something more to me. I realized I was risking everything by allowing these feelings to develop, but I couldn't stop. Deep down, I hoped that one day we could start a new life together, away from all of this. Today, I'm headed to a meeting with the gang leaders. The meeting place is an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. As I approach my destination, I notice several cars parked near the entrance. One of them is the black Toyota my contact arrived in. He's sitting behind the wheel, smoking a cigarette and looking in my direction. I park nearby and get out of the car. The contact walks towards me, his face hidden in the shadow of his cap visor. He is silent, but gestures for me to follow him. We pass through a metal gate and find ourselves inside the warehouse. It's semi-dark inside, with only a few lamps illuminating the space. A long wooden table stands in the center of the room, with 4 men sitting around it. They all look serious and focused. The contact motions for me to take an empty seat, and I sit down, trying to remain calm. One of the men, dressed in an expensive suit, begins to speak. "Are you ready?" His voice is low and hoarse, as if he hasn't used it in a long time. Of course, I answer, trying to hide my excitement. "What needs to be done?" The man tells me the plan of the operation. Tomorrow night, $1 million will be transferred in one of the banks. The money belongs to one of their competitors, and our task is to intercept the transfer before it reaches the bank. To do this, I will have to use special programs and equipment to hack into the bank security system and redirect the funds to the right account. "Are you all set for the operation?" The man asks, looking at me intently. I nod, though inside I can feel my heart racing. Intercepting wire transfers is complicated, requiring specialized skills and equipment. But I have the support of the FBI, and if everything goes according to plan, we can arrest the entire group right at the crime scene. "Good," the man continues. "Then listen carefully. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., you need to be in place. I'll send you the address of the bank later. You'll take the signal interception equipment with you and do your job. After that, the money will be transferred to our accounts." "Got it." "Yes, I understand," I say, though I'm seething inside. This operation could end in disaster, but I have no other choice. I have to see it through. We discuss the details for a while longer, then I leave the warehouse. As I walk back home, I can feel the tension building. Tomorrow is a crucial day, and a lot depends on how I do. In the evening, I spend time on the computer, going over the schematics of the banking systems and preparing for tomorrow's operation. The night passes restlessly. My sleep is interrupted and restless. The morning of the next day starts the same way as the previous one: alarm clock, shower, coffee. But today, everything seems different. The city seems alien. The people seem suspicious. I try not to attract attention, but every movement seems too noticeable. Time stretches slowly. Minutes seem like hours. Finally, evening comes. I arrive at the bank and take a seat in the waiting room. The hall is filled with the usual visitors: elderly couples, students, young mothers with children. I try to blend in, pretending to check my email on my phone or look at advertising brochures. A storm of emotions rages inside me: anxiety, tension, anticipation. Every movement seems slow, as if in slow motion, and every sound is deafeningly loud. At the appointed time, 2 guys from the band approach me. They try to keep a casual demeanor, but I notice their eyes running around, checking to see if anyone is watching us. One of them places a bag of equipment near me. The guys walk away as stealthily as they appeared, leaving me alone. I take a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. Then I take the laptop out of the bag and open it up in my lap. The screen lights up brightly, and I start typing in commands. My fingers run across the keyboard like a pianist at a concert. My heart pounds in my chest, but I try to focus on the task at hand. The bank security system is indeed more complex than I expected. The program freezes a few times, but special programs provided by the FBI help me find workarounds. Gradually, step by step, I penetrate deeper into the system. After half an hour, I finally gain access to the server. A window opens in front of me with transaction data. $1 million is already moving through the electronic channels, and I only have to wait for the right moment to intercept the transfer. Every second feels like an eternity. I stare at my watch, counting the minutes until I press the button and change the course of events. When the money starts to move, I press the button and intercept the signal. The transfer is redirected to another account monitored by my FBI colleagues. Everything goes smoothly, without any problems. I turn off my laptop and am about to leave the bank, feeling victorious. But suddenly, I notice a familiar figure. It's Laura. She walks up to me and says, "Jack, I knew you were here. I couldn't let this happen. You have to leave now." I look at her surprised. Why is she here? How did she know? "Laura, what are you doing? You can't be here," I say, trying to figure out what's going on. She takes my hand and leads me to the back exit. We walk down the long hallway and down the stairs, out into the courtyard. We hear sirens wailing, but Laura points to a door across the street. We run up to it. It's open. Running inside, we run through a small store and run out into the street. We run up to the car, get in, and drive away. It's only then that I realize that she saved me. We speed through the streets of New York, trying to get away from the crime scene. Laura's driving is masterful, avoiding cars and swerving around corners. Finally, we reach the safety of an old warehouse where her father's goods used to be stored. "Why did you do that?" I ask, breathing hard. "Because I care about you, Jack," she answers, looking into my eyes. "You were going to be taken away as a witness. I couldn't let anything happen to you." Her words surprised me. I didn't expect her to feel the way I did. But now is not the time for thinking. We need to hide and consider our next steps. We spend the night in an old warehouse, hiding from the police and bandits. Laura tells me that she has long suspected something was wrong. She saw me acting strangely, overheard the bandits talking, and realized I was in danger. "I wanted to help you, Jack," she says. "I know you're a good man, and I couldn't let you get taken out." We talk all night long, sharing our fears and hopes. In the morning, while Laura slept, I went outside and contacted the FBI to tell them the operation was a success. The money had been recovered, the gang had been arrested. But now I was faced with a new choice: stay with Laura or go back to my old life. I choose Laura. We leave New York, starting a new life together. I leave the FBI, realizing that the real value is love and freedom. We start over, building relationships and dreaming of the future. Sometimes I think about the risk I took by falling in love with a woman associated with crime. But every time I look into her eyes, I realize I made the right choice. Maybe one day I'll tell her the truth about my past. But for now, I'm just glad to be alive and to have found true love.